Hey everybody, welcome back to Improper Gaming, episode number 7, Keystone Hero. Here we're so close, 1723. It's almost our 2500, except we're 777 away still. So that's still quite a high number. If you think that you're going to get yourselves maybe 10 to 20, depending on which key that you complete, and then you average that over the 8 different dungeons, you're going to have yourselves a long time before you get that 2500 rating. However, we're getting up there, we're doing well. We've been doing a lot of keys in 1 week. This was to catch up and understand the class. It was to identify its strong points, its weak points, and in this upcoming video, you're going to see a couple things. You're going to see some weaknesses that the Shadow Priest has. You're going to see what happens when you get into some groups where there's some problems in CC or crowd control. You're going to see some issues with rotation and standing in certain things. So there's a lot to go over in this particular episode. We're going to break it down into 2 dungeons for now. We're starting off with our 15 Galakrons of Fall. Now, I apparently am at the bottom of the pack still. The rest of this group has got a pretty high gear score. As you can see, the tank's doing pretty well, even ahead of me in the beginning. But it's going to change. You'll see pretty soon exactly how that all turns out. So the first pack's down. Not too much to worry there. It was a pretty quick, smooth pack. Unfortunately, since I decided to use Shadow Crash at the end, I'm stuck using a bunch of Empiric Touches, and that's going to be the only way that you're going to, as a Shadow Priest, you're going to be able to do your AoE damage when you're on that cooldown. If you start throwing in your single target spells or your cast spells, then you're going to get stuck only doing damage to one target and not being able to cleave with those with the psychic abilities. So that's a good way to start it. But try near the end of the packs to either refresh your dots or let the last second or so wave off. You don't want to waste your Shadow Crash so that you're not going in your next pack full. We did okay there. We got a good silence off in the middle of that pack, which was excellent. It helped us interrupt. We do have our interrupt counter there on the left-hand side of the screen. So we should have 4 other interrupts. It looks like nobody else is on cooldown. It's a good little dodge on my part. Stopped casting and moved out. That's a pro gamer move for anyone that's playing a caster DPS or anybody at range. Now I believe if I'm not mistaken, this Warlock and the Paladin were just gearing up a fresh ult, so that's kind of why the damage is so far between the 2 of them. I believe he's a little under-geared for this. Not too big of a deal as it is just a 15, but it's going to play into some issues a little bit later. So the bad part about switching up, as you can see, if you look at my bars from the first couple dungeons, we ended up switching out of that recommended spec from Wowhead, and we have now switched into a channeled spec. And the thought process I have with this is I get to channel my Mind Flay and at least get 1 tick off instead of having to cancel or interrupt myself in a scenario just like that, where there might be something that causes me to move and I have to lose the entire cast completely, and I won't be able to use the Mind Spike, so at least I get a couple ticks from the Mind Flay in this scenario. So we're going pretty well, actually, to start here. As you can see on screen, we have both Bolstering and Fortified. So that's going to be a problem as we get a little farther. It wasn't too big of an issue in those earlier keys because
infinite possibilities.
We only had the Fortified. And now the Bolstering's here, it added a different level, so everything's going to kind of switch, and your mistakes are really going to show if you're killing your targets too fast, or you're not allowing them the stacks to fall off, or you're pulling packs into each other. It's going to really hurt anything that you're trying to do as you move forward. Alright, so let's get into the first boss. It doesn't look too bad. We got someone asking if they want a Bloodlust, and I don't believe anyone's going to answer. But here's one of those scenarios where I can just cut my cast short and walk out. A nice little shield to move us on. The shield is good, helping mitigate some of that damage, and I have spec'd into the utility portion of the tree where I got myself some extra healing. And that can also help, especially when we hurt ourselves or run into things just like that, because that was silly. But it didn't really matter since we didn't soak. You gotta soak or this happens. But not a big deal. We can regroup and get it all moving. Alright, now that we've regrouped and we're back at the boss, we're gonna try to do this again without having bloodlust, since it looks like we were okay. And our paladin is stuck outside. Well, can we four-man this? I hope so. I would bloodlust, I guess, if I was him. As you can see, we switched it up a little. Not only do not have Dark Ascension anymore, but looks like, oh yep, and we auto reset because Paladin was outside and he got leaped on. Alrighty, so take 3, not a big deal. Okay, 3rd time's a charm, right? Only 6 deaths on the first boss. Definitely not foreboding anything in the future.
Time itself cannot stop me.
But this is good. This is a good way to learn where we can better our rotation. As you can see, I've also switched up. Not only did I switch and try out in this particular dungeon, I switched up what I was casting in our shadow tree. But if you'll also look at the left hand side of my utility bar, I've also got prayer mending, I've got some renew in the middle of my utility bar there, and I was trying that left hand side approach where I can do some off healing in order to take away some of this and provide some additional self utility, especially when I'm using those shadow word deaths and damaging myself. I know I talked about this a little bit in the last video, but this is the time exactly where I realized I started spending way too much mana just trying to off heal with renews and with our players amending. I thought they'd be really good to bounce them around and help out everybody with that, but if I want to keep up my damage, I realized that that is a no-go. Luckily, we're getting this one down. We're dodging everything. That was the last second dodge on my part, but it worked out. He should be dead shortly. It's very good that this is not a tyrannical week, because this would have been very, very tough.
Your lifespan is mine.
Now we have ourselves a couple extra hits before the end. Looks like we still didn't use Bloodlust on this one, because I think the next boss is going to be the harder one for us to work with. So we'll save it for that one. It looked like I'm sorry, did that say 77,000 damage done in the 15? Wow, we are way behind damage-wise. My goodness. And whether it's me or the Warlock, we're kind of slacking. I know there's a lot of movement for us casters, but we need to get some extra damage or we're not going to be able to do this dungeon. Alright, this is tough. This is going to be a tough portion. There's a lot of things that we need to do to not pull the entire room. And hopefully the tank will be able to pick all these bad boys up, and we'll get some good damage going. Chrono Burst kind of sucks. This is one of those where I'd want to throw a shield on myself or disperse. Luckily, it wasn't too terrible, but I had Vampiric Touch going, and now I am being channeled with no interrupts. Part of the drawback here for me is I don't have any way to do anything about that. My silence is on cooldown. I don't have a stun. I did have a stun. You know, I actually did not use the stun. I guess that's on me. I could have done something with that. But now I'm just have aggro for some reason, so that's not great. But that's okay. We'll get back in the fight. I was topping the charts there. She's Psychic Link on top, and then the Mindbender. So those are some of our biggest damaging abilities. Remember, Psychic Link comes off of anyone that's got that Vampiric Touch on them. It's going to get them some extra damage. And it's a percentage of all your single target damage abilities. So if you attack everybody and hit them all with your Shadow Crash, and then you wait until it hits, you're going to be able to throw in your Mind Blasts and your Void Torrents and your Shadow Word Deaths and anything else like that. All those single target hits are going to do 25% extra to everybody else, and you've got to interrupt or do something to stop that. Yikes, that's going to be rough, especially when we're on bolstering fortified. That's really rough, and we're not really interrupting. No one's interrupting on that side. I'm of course dead, so I couldn't interrupt, but we need to. That was me trying to interrupt. I couldn't do it from so far away. Looks like our Paladin did interrupt, so good for him, at least on that one, on his 15-second cooldown. Okay, we're on the second portion. We got blooms coming out. Blooms are rough. I'm being targeted again. I need to use some kind of... See, I was using my defensives when I
cannot
couldn't use
use that
dispersion,
item
so I
yet.
had to use paramending there. It didn't do much to save me. And I'm just typing out that we got bolstering happening. We got to be careful with that. We're at 15 deaths running into this dungeon. Hopefully we can... Oh, and our healer has left. So that's a big loss for us. But we'll just try a different one. We'll try something else. You know, only to be expected. So after we had our last little loss, we are going to go to a Throne of the Tides. And the Tides can be pretty tough because there's lots of dangerous trash here, especially with this big pool at the start. This is also a 15, so we got 0 rating out of that, so we're still 777 away from our next hero. We are really going in on these guys, and everyone seems to be dying. So, well, that that didn't go as planned. We have 3 paladins, a healer, and myself. So 2 rets, prop paladin, and then me, and a nice resto druid. So, we'll say the tank is a little...
I must get closer.
A little aggressive, talking to the healer, and continued to ask lots of questions about their ability. But some of this stuff is, again, fortified and bolstering, and we pulled the entire first area. That was one plus. So that was kind of tough, even though we have some big damage dealing rep tallies. That is the strongest portion here. As you can see, he's up to 400k damage per second right there. And even though I'm at 170, I'm still way at the bottom. I ended up hitting 210.
I do not have a target. I require
Our
a
tank
target.
did end up dying because that guy's got himself about 40-something stacks of, of death. And it took him out, but I thought I did okay with 198k. He's at 250 for our second paladin and 341 at the very end. Everyone seemed to be dying though, because you can't take that. He's asking why he can't be healed, but I think some of that has to do with having a mob on a bolstering fortified week with 8 stacks. I don't know what to do for all of those hits. So that's okay. We'll move on. This is the hardest part. These first 2 hallways, and the last hallway after the last boss, probably the toughest hallway. So we're getting good on our rotation. We're getting everything down. I finished up some of the channel there. We got such a long time to get out of those routes. They're basically negligible unless you go back to our last ever bloom where they were thorning us and we were fighting the mini boss for whatever reason, and we got silenced or stunned, and we were basically trapped with
I need to target something first.
but we got lucky and we were able to take care of that one. Here I decided to walk in front of those. That nice little poison blast, but we can protect ourselves from poison blast and then shields and then other trinket. This is just something that get fortunate and throw out some of our old Vinthier abilities. It's okay, it's a good filler. But I think there's other things you can add in there.
I do not have a
I
target.
know that a big skill's going to come out, so I can get at least some healing out of it and mitigate some of that damage. Bubble Ride, we're back into Neptulon's Rise on our way to the first boss. One of the other hardest parts of this dungeon. This is linear hallways are not terrible in terms of pulling extra stuff. Half of the monsters are pretty tough, basically 45. While it looks like my damage, according to the meter on the left there, at 250,000 is pretty low, it's only in comparison to the paladin who's got
I
Real
require a target.
and another rep paladin, which they're just the strongest spots right now in DPS or melee DPS. They've got so much going for them, whatever it's their Wake of Ashes or whatever skills they have that just really throw up the damage there, especially on large capability guys like that. We got about 8 for us with our Shadow Crash. And it's tough. It's tough sometimes to keep up. There's not much else to do. Now, in fact, it feels so in second, and doing okay with that. Especially since we haven't gone up much either. Low 4.6s. Okay, and here we are into our next little portion. This is good that we have a paladin here, and a paladin tank can throw in his nice little Avenger shield and get everyone grouped up. The tough part is we have to wait for everybody to get put into that spot together so we can really better back on them. Here's another excellent area of me blocking my own view by having the camera zoomed out the way it is, and I walk right back into it, so I guess I just have to play blind. So self-aiming caps are part of the challenge apparently. But hey, look, I topped the DPS on that one, not so bad. And no, I don't even have our new AoE spell is not on cooldown, though we took place of Dark Ascension, our Void Transform. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name right now. Void Ascension? But now that we get that, I decided to use it to do some extra damage, which is fine. In fact, it hurts. But the next one, which I always have...
I need to target something first. I do not have a target.
Except 4 times I've blocked myself with the camera. I am just stuck behind this unit. I love the right there. He's blocking everything. Maybe that's why I cleaned out some stuff in the back. Just always consistently hindering myself. Is it on purpose? Who knows? Apparently it is, because that's just what keeps happening. I mean, you guys have all seen it, so... That's okay, that's okay. We're gonna do better. We're gonna do fine here, and he's pulling the doggies. Okay, everyone's favorite pack. Here it comes. Can we do it? Come on in, doggos. Oh, okay, he's got the pack of doggos, and he's got himself some witches. Pally bubbles to help save some folks. We're looking for the best here. All the skills. Everything. I blocked my camera yet again. Can't even see them moving fast, but I guess it didn't matter.
I require a target.
Killed so fast. One of our red paladins is almost dead. Tank is down. Now I am dead. I just got lightning bolted for some crazy ass amount. Keeled right over. My goodness. See, and that's what I always worry about with these. Not only, well, just tanks in general. I like to pull that whole thing. Whenever I'm tanking, I always throw in something, some kind of single taunt, and I pull those dogs by themselves. It's best, at least in my opinion, to save all of your CC and your skills to keep them in one place, whether it's your stuns or your roots, when they start targeting people and near the end of their lifespan, so that you can mitigate the problems as a tank, since they're going to fight down your armor and damage, and they won't target your party members as they're going to.
I need to target something first.
Gobble up their
I do not have a target.
almost like the Dragonflight hyenas on that third boss. Or second. Whichever way you go. One of the 2 ways. Now I gotta res the healer. Because we've had only 11 deaths though, so we're still moving pretty quick as far as pacing goes. I think the 11 deaths is definitely still a time for the key. Get some points off of it, so it'll be good. It's good, we only got one guy here. This guy especially needs it. We don't want to kill 3 little monsters close to this, so he starts throwing out. Getting our Venthier skills going. We're able to get some Mind Blasts in, followed by some more Mind Blasts. That's what we want here. Hey, look. Not only am I far away, but at least I'm not getting... I went from the plants to the freaking floral on the wall there. Like that pixelated 2D art on the side of the wall, which I can't seem to do anything but focus on the scenery of the room.
I need to target something first.
That was good. We liked that. It was much better. We found the only plant in the room. Now we have ourselves a pillar. What is wrong with me? Like, just turn my camera sideways and do weird things. I'm struggling there. That's okay. See, now, good for me. I use Psychic Core there. I've been forgetting about that skill because I don't like to play it. But it's 45 seconds stun, so almost like a hammer justice. Kind of useful in that regard. Problem is, you do some damage points to get that extra utility. And you still see you have a 45-second stun and now a 45-second silence. So you can help some, but in a scenario right here, we have 2 casters. You don't. There's not much really you can do. Oh, number is it like 18, 100? I don't even know how many times that is. I found the other seaweed in this dungeon to stare at. I really hope you guys enjoy this seaweed simulator. I just keep blocking myself. It's pretty entertaining. I hope you guys don't play that way. This is probably going to take away from what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Well, we're finally killed that.
I require a target.
And I'm just going to bring you into the entertaining portion. We had a couple of minor deaths here and there, but this is going to be the haul that really matters. This is the last haul in the dungeon.
I require a target.
You don't know, I have all the little inklings, and the inklings are going to give you this beautiful little debuff that increases your magic damage that you take. And if I'm not mistaken, it spreads with AoE damage. So, how well do we do in keeping our AoE down so that we can do the necessary things to actually kill these monsters without dying? So let's make a nice mental note of it. 24 deaths at the start of this, and let the gauntlet begin. Alright, we gotta get to the sentry, get now swell is what you don't want to do it, because swell's gonna pulse on you, it's extra damage. That's 4 stacks, okay, 5 stacks. 5 stacks, still hurting. Trying to get everything I can to then to not do the extra AoE while he's doing swell. Swell's gone, so I'm throwing a good shot at that, which is nice. Missed one of those hunters. I should have tabbed over there, but I didn't. We'll kill him. He needs to go first. That swell's going to get
I do not have a target.
They're bolstering effects. Another 4 deaths still. So hey, not so bad. We're actually not doing terrible. That's good.
I need to target something first.
I have a feeling though, this is going to be tough. Because now these little inklings are kind of got themselves some extra bolstering. Okay, my Appear touches on cooldown, shields on cooldown. I have dispersion, that's good. My healer trinket I'm still wearing. It's about to come back up. Trying not to AoE out of the spell, and I'm dead. 171,000 for that last tick. That's terrible. I have almost 800,000 health, so did about 20% of my health in 1 tick. But apparently I was the only one to die, so I guess they all had their immune bubbles, which only one of them used, if you can see on my cooldown trackers there on the right. Which isn't so bad, actually. So, hey, look, I'll take it. It's me, and that's good. Okay.
I require a target.
40 seconds to pause. Hopefully we'll get through it. Now, I did start using that a little more, so for 30 seconds to go down on your cooldown. So if you're really bad in London, like, you can hear people into other places. And other places could be in a mob, or any kind of disparaging area. You could send somebody after them, and then your other player character can go through and you try and kill them, and kill monsters themselves, and take them in combat with them.
I do not have a target.
But in this area, we're always in combat with that. It's a good little separate interrupt. Okay, we had another 4 deaths right there. That's always a tough one and a tough transition because those hunter dudes are tough anyway. And then when they get bolstered from everything else, it makes it hard. So we're gonna try to get past these people. I think I could have mind sued them, but we didn't pull anybody else extra, so it's not so bad. Well, then you start getting all empowered and you're throwing out the poison spheres. Normally that's the dock gonna get harder, everything else is gonna get harder. I tried master spelling here. It didn't work because it's not magic. Debuff. You can see my decursive in the top right center there. And then see the banner. It was lighting up, but it wasn't anything that had a cooldown timer that I could click on. So
I require a target.
okay.
I need
31
to
deaths,
target something
and we're
first.
going into the hardest pull of the entire game. Double swells, like training sentries. This one's tough. We got 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Yikes. Okay, everybody, since we had some death, yikes, 11. Yep, there it is, 14 stacks. Yikes, that's I think 240% extra damage. Maybe? Okay, good. We let him fall off. We got one stack of 20% damage. Not so bad. Alright, we're going in to fight these sentries. Sometimes
I do not have a target.
the answer is Bloodlust here. So you can get all your damage in, you kill these things super fast. Especially in a scenario like this. These guys are just
My mana is
everything.
low.
Here's also another spot where I was trying to self-heal. And as you can see, I took out it just didn't work. But I used the flash heals. Stay alive. Starring there. That should work okay for everybody. Any little bit goes through it. Doing okay. We've got doing pretty well. Getting them down. We got 3 minutes for last boss.
The beast has returned. It must not pollute my waters.
Deaths. 3 minutes left on a 15. We've got decent damage. Don't look at mine. I did contribute, I promise. I got a lot of shields in there and some extra heals. I was a voice of encouragement throughout, so it wasn't a total carry. And don't worry, we'll get away from that. Alright, everybody needs to drink up and do something so that we can get to this boss. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and we're just tapping our toes, tapping our feet, twiddling our thumbs, eating our snacks. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something. So let me give him a nice little heal, a nice 54,000 heal, that 12,000 instant heal up front. That's the reason why I choose.
As I purify these waters, the servants of filth will surely be stirred.
So we want to get our blotting boxes up so that we can stack those out and then move out of them so we don't die. Same old
My
typical
waters
stuff.
are cleansed.
Our waters
Drink
together.
in their power.
Very nice. We have 2 minutes to keep this boss doable.
Their filthiness stains
70%
me.
health. Now getting close to 60% health. He's slowly dying. Everyone's got the mechanics down. That's good. A little bit of poison rules up right now. Or ink rules. That's gonna be a rough one. I'm getting stuck. Might need a dispersion out of it, but I got lucky. Dispersion. No.
The waters are cleansed. Drink in their power.
Gives you an instant increase. Heals you a little bit.
Their filthiness stains me.
Top of the fade that we got that does our fade combo is about 10%. Minute 20 left. Boss is almost dead. That's good. We're gonna stand in and stuff the cast, because why not? We got an overlap here, that's gonna kill me. Oh no. Push all the buttons. Yikes, I had to use all, I guess,
My waters are cleansed. Drink in their power.
Set us behind. 54 seconds to kill all
Behold the power of pure
I
water.
believe I also used drums in this scenario, because we didn't have our pack. But it worked out okay. Azamon's about to die, and let's get us some points and bring us
My
up.
realm has at last been cleansed by filth.
1755, 32 points from that one, so that was good. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.